Hi, welcome to Tim's Garage. We're talking now about the installation of the upgraded larger volume intercooler. And originally in the earlier video I indicated that I felt you could just slide the intercooler out and put the larger one in, and in fact it seems that you've got to disassemble the car just a little bit more than I expected. So as you can see, I've now got the front bumper off of the car, and fortunately for me, it's a super easy thing to do in removing the bumper cover. It was a total of 10 7mm screws and 4 clips, and it came off. So it kind of didn't make sense to leave it on the car. So now that I've got the intercooler all fitted in the car, there's a couple of things for those of you that are going to be doing this on your own cars in the future. The first thing is, there's a bracket that's located right here. And this bracket actually caused interference on the upper tube. Now, I'm not sure if all of the GXPs and the Redlines come with this bracket, but there's a reinforcement that runs to just underneath the frame rail, and that had to be notched. And I've got a separate video that we'll include that shows that little notch that's located in it that I had to grind in to make clearance to be able to put it in. And once I've got the whole intercooler mounted, what I found is that it created with the ducting here, because the intercooler is a little larger than the factory intercooler, it's a little bit taller and fatter. It requires that these brackets, which you cannot get to with the vehicle still together, these brackets need to be lengthened just a little bit. And if you see, when I mount these at the height that they're at, you can see that there's about a ½ inch of clearance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and they're also bumping into the intercooler right here. So I'm going to be just bending these slightly to get a little extra length and be able to increase the distance to this point so that when I tuck this all up, it'll bolt nicely up against this. And I'll clearance it so this sits away from the intercooler. I don't want it rubbing against the intercooler at all. And the only way to do that is to have the bumper cover off. Now, one other note, when you're installing this intercooler, one of the things I did is I put anti-seize compound in here so that when these bolts go in, again, they won't gall into the aluminum. And I also upgraded these bolts to stainless steel bolts just to minimize the risk of any of that having any galling or any problems in the future. So with that said, I'm going to be lengthening both these brackets, and they're handed. There's a left bracket and a right bracket. So once I bend these and straighten these out to the right length, I'll do another video, or I may even show a video of me actually straightening these and lengthening them out so that they fit into the two locations to secure the lower splash shield correctly and not interfere with the intercooler. Okay, so for now, that's all we have for Tim's Garage. I'll be back with you as I start to install the rest of the components on the intercooler. Okay, I found the offending bracket. It appears there's a curb stop only on the driver's side of the Sky, and that curb stop has a reinforcing bracket that unfortunately is going to be sacrificed a little bit in order to clear the new larger intercooler. So I've crudely cut out a piece of this just with a cutoff saw, and now I'm going to go get a die grinder and I'm going to clean this all off nicely and then repaint it around the edges and get it all ready to go back into the car, and then I'll hopefully be able to install the intercooler and complete that task. It never fails when you're starting to modify cars. Nothing is ever strictly a bolt-in. So I'll be back at you. There'll be a little video of me doing some grinding, but other than that, it's been a pretty simple little modification. Hi. Okay, I've managed to cut all of this out and create clearance around the tube. Now, it was quite a bit, and it's obviously really weakened this particular reinforcement. It still has a little bit of reinforcement, but now we have a big piece cut out of it that will clear around the tube as it needs to mount inside the car. Okay, that's how that's going to have to mount. Now, with that all mounted in there, I'm going to need to coat this so it doesn't rust. And the company I work for, Axon Val, makes something called an auto prep etching pen. And it's basically a paint marker. And this particular device is intended to be used on bare metal. You can see it's leaving a little bit of a yellowish look on there. That is a corrosion resistant coating that's etching itself into the metal, and it'll actually restore factory corrosion resistance to the steel. Now I'm going to put this on here just to protect it, and then I'm going to coat it with some black paint in order to make sure that I've got good adhesion and that this won't rust. So with that said, you can see the coating is on there. It just needs to dry a little bit, and then it can be coated. So I'll be painting this up, and then I'll reinstall it back in the car, and then I'll actually get to install the intercooler. Thank you.